Hello, welcome back to Forspoken. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we're going to finally start exploring the Blessed Plains. But first, there is that one more detour that we just saw on the map, so let's go in there and get that sorted out, shall we? While we go to the loading gate. Now that one to the right, as we mentioned last time, is just a photo mission. That will stay there for the entirety of the game. So this is the only new detour to deal with, so let's just get it done, shall we?
Flighty little creature. Worth chasing it down, perhaps.
And of course it's taking an awkward route. Running into the camera, cheeky little thing. Don't know where you're going.
What do you want us to find here?
The only thing they ever really want us to find.
You let me
So there we
know
go,
on
that's that
purpose,
done.
Didn't you?
So it's finally time to actually leave. Once I've made absolutely sure there's nothing else in here to do.
All set?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right, let's do this.
So let's finally start going down this massive hill, shall we? Yeah, the movement's quite fun though, quite like Call of Duty launching off things and then just kind of softening your blow with the dash ability. It's quite fun. Even at this early stage, it's quite satisfying to do that sort of thing. So let's just get an idea of where we're actually going, shall we? Straight south. I'm mostly just kind of going up, climbing stuff, just to get the, once I figure out how to make it trigger properly, to get that going, to get some climb a certain distance stuff started off, because that's quite a useful challenge to do, even though it takes a while to actually do it. Because generally the movement abilities are the most useful ones to actually upgrade in that way, because they reduce the amount of, stamina they use to actually use them, while also increasing your magic attack as well. Making sure I've got a burst shot equipped. Although I will make a mistake early on in this video though. If you're just mashing the button, it won't actually be using burst shots at all.
Clouds all the way down.
Oh, there's solid ground somewhere under there. Somewhat break-tainted, but you can't have everything.
Guess we don't gotta get a good angle.
So yeah, we need to get under the clouds, but first, let's start taking pictures, shall we? I quite like these little things, they're quite fun little collectible, because they result in some really nice vistas at times. I like that they actually have it be the right orientation for a smartphone as well, vertical and the little... It's very cute.
Actual treasure.
Well, not right, but the most common orientation for a smartphone photo anyway. It's a cute little bit of attention to detail. Yeah, people don't really come to Pinos much anymore because
What's
of
this?
Sila's minions. Of course, they're referring to that creature we fought in town. So let's start descending into the clouds, shall we? Avoiding the mutants, because... no. We're just kind of focusing on the right direction and making sure we follow the right icons to get there efficiently while still doing plenty of the stuff there is to do. I quite like to give this massive winding path to go right down as well, because it gives a good idea of just how high these cliffs are. Because if you just try to jump right down, you'd take fall damage. Pretty heavily. It's kind of like a fun way of showing that.
Bullseye.
Yeah, I temporarily kind of forgot the buttons here, so I accidentally tried to press R1 to fire. So yeah, the reason it worked that time and not wouldn't work on other times is because the burst shot only really triggers if you slightly hold down the trigger button to fire it. If you don't do that, then instead of actually doing the burst shot, it will just do the standard shot, which isn't any kind of special shot, it's just a rapid fire little burst of which isn't really much. But that's a mistake I'll make throughout the beginning of this video. I'll figure it out later on though, I'm just letting you know that's why it's not going to count for some of the enemies that actually are weak to it.
Look out!
Of course I'm making a concerted effort to do that, because of course evading attacks using magic parkour is one of our challenges for flow.
Got you on your toes now.
I'm doing my best to be as efficient as I can with these challenges, because it's very handy to have the extra points in magic attack. Especially because we won't be actually upgrading our stuff much at the beginning of the game. For the reasons I've given earlier.
Alright.
But yeah, these guys aren't weak to our magic, so using burst shot would not really affect anything. I quite like how the further we go down, the more sprawling the land gets, though, because you can see the landscape is getting more visible. As we get further down, you get closer to where the actual land is. I do like as well that it gives you those little like bayonet style grade things, because that's actually very handy for doing the challenges, because you can kind of see when you're doing what you're trying to do. So if there's a challenge that's like hit enemies from behind, that will show you, oh, I'm actually doing that, so why isn't it working? It kind of gives you a good idea of if you're doing the thing you're not getting the points, why aren't you getting the points? Maybe you're using the wrong spell, maybe you're just doing something incorrectly, it's kind of unclear sometimes. You just have to figure it out. But that's very helpful in figuring out. As you can see, of course, it adds in a very attacks with floating to the great thing as well, which is, of course, what we're trying to do to get the flow challenge done. Because sometimes we're mashing the flow button and not realizing why you're not actually evading attacks. That maybe enemies aren't attacking you, or you may be too far away for the attack to count. So you kind of have to figure out, like I'm currently getting back into the rhythm of it, so I'm getting better at it at this point. So let's not go up that way, because there's a mutant there, and those are still incredibly dangerous. So let's go on this little veering to get to the photo spot, shall we? Yeah, quite like these early areas, don't really give you that much of a view. And you'll see why I like that later on, but for now, it's like, it gives a good amount of mystery for how badly the break is affecting certain locations. You can see that Lock Labyrinth up on that massive pillar. We can't get there at this point in the game. That pillar is way too high, so we'll be ignoring that. I'm not going to skip it because I forgot about it or whatever. We just can't get there. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies here, and so I'm going to use this opportunity to use our magic parkour a lot, because there's a lot of enemies, so that means a lot of attacks. You see, what we call this is strategy. When the number's high and there's foes nearby, it's strategy. When it's time to grind, I think you'll find it's good to fight. when doing an LP, then time can be tight. And yeah, there's a lot of enemies here. This is a massive swarm. I think it's kind of probably intended to both give you a bit of a wake-up call for how dangerous the break is, now that you're going into the proper areas of it, but also to give you an opportunity to do these kind of flow challenges more easily. It also will give us a good opportunity to show off how powerful attacks like Tendril can be, because look at how massive the amount of damage it does to all these enemies. Tendril and the burst attacks, well, not the burst attack, the slammy attacks, where they fill the meter, are actually very helpful in these kind of situations. Here we go, time to do the one. Yeah, at this point I'm still kind of like trying to kill all the enemies, but I do give up on that. So I mostly just use them to get our evade attacks thing done. As you can see, it's rocketing up real quickly in this. Look at how many enemies I'm dodging all at once. So I'm getting multiple numbers at a time here. It's very helpful in big groups sometimes to seek them out, so you can just do that sort of surge magic. That's what it's called. Do that sort of stuff. As you can see, in massive groups, surge magic is insanely powerful too. And they're very satisfying to use. Even at these early stages, it's very fun to use like the big group attacks to do a lot of damage to massive amounts of people, because it's just fun. And of course, you have to be kind of careful though, because I'm taking a lot of damage from Cuff. The only reason I'm really getting much health back is because of all the damage I'm doing to enemies right now. So of course, that's one of the things we have, is like gaining health back from the critical hits and that sort of stuff. So that's very handy because of the equipment we have equipped right now. Sometimes it's also just fun to find a massive group of enemies and just start styling on them. There's a couple more evades to go. But yeah, this is what I mean, like, so I'm just kind of dodging all over the place, but nowhere near anyone that's actually attacking me, so it's not counting any of the actual evades. So I'm just waiting for once we can finish this off. But yeah, again, if you dodge too early, it won't count as avoiding an attack because they're not attacking, but there we are. Completed the first challenge. Let's also get a few points in climbing certain distances while escaping that massive onslaught of enemies. And yeah, that big cloud is ominous. We'll be dealing with that later. Let's deal with these wolves now, because I'm trying again, because these guys are vulnerable to phase magic. I'm trying to do the whole thing here. This is where I'm making the mistake. I'm not going to be getting any of the points towards it, because I'm actually only using this basic shot, as you can see from that little icon, because I'm making the mistake of mashing the buttons. If I held the button a little bit longer, and I'm kind of confused about why it's not doing the burst shot, but if I'd held the button a little bit longer, it would have been doing the burst shot. You know, even just checking to make sure they actually are weak to phase magic, but that's kind of something you have to be very careful with this game, is, are you using the right attack? If you're not gaining points, you're either not hitting the right kind of enemies, or you're not doing the attack right in the first place. As I mentioned, those kind of achievements.
Town would love to see this.
It would make for...
This will be a good one.
Or what taught me how to use a shield attack, for example, which I showed off in the first episodes. But you obviously that massively high up block labyrinth is one of the views, because it's a very nice view.
Nice.
And you can also see some very telltale rocks on that rock pillar.
Be ready to protect yourself.
Yeah, something quite useful as well is you can do that from quite a far away, so I can not to bother dealing with those guys because they're not weak to phase magic. So all I get out of that is experience. So I can't go to the east because the cliffs are too high. So let's instead focus on going to that city in that weird cloud. over in Reeve. And then we'll check out Hopston. And we're getting closer and closer to that little marker. Yeah, this is a new mechanic. These areas are too broken for any enemies to survive, with one
Looks
massive
like a town.
exception.
One whose
Exception,
inhabitants
rather.
have long since left, so-
Yeah.
Yeah, these enemies are nightmares. These are creatures made entirely out of break. As you can see, they're made of weird sort of like netting almost. They're like weird sort of, almost like they're just the nerve endings of whatever creatures they used to be. And they're a pretty cool visual. I quite like the way they look and also the really weird way they move. You get some really weird looking ones later on, but right now they're quite humanoid looking. I do love how bizarre they look. It's a very cool idea.
Do not waste any
And of course
energy
these
on
guys
moving
can
here.
cast their status ailments, which reduces our stamina recovery. That's what the little plus sign with the little down arrow means. It means we recover stamina either not at all or very slowly right now. But now I've beaten them all, so not only have I got new nails, but the town's now clear of all that corruption as well. So now those things won't really appear here anymore. Let's find some of these chests, shall we? Because the chests are always quite nice to get, because you'll not only get crafting stuff, but also things like that feather
Did you find
and
something?
nuggets and stuff, which are always nice to get. Because nuggets are
There's no one
and feathers allow you, as we saw earlier, to upgrade the amount of potions we can carry, of healing drafts rather, and the amount of craft items we can carry at once. We're also getting new kinds of crafting materials as well, which of course will come in handy for crafting. I quite like exploring all these little towns because they're quite fun little areas, and some of them give interesting lore as well. Some of them just give prizes, like the nails, but some of them give neat little bits of lore. So let's head down to the ruins of Hopperson, shall we? Well, however we pronounce it, I kind of forgot how it's spelled already. Something like that. Yeah, I'm just kind of making sure as well that I'm not like missing anything obvious like chests and stuff like that. Because of course those little purple spots are chests, so it can be quite useful as well to see if there's any purple spots in a town that you've missed. After Hopperston, we'll of course be checking out Thane.
Well, that place didn't exactly fill me with joy.
Look on the bright side. The inhabitants might all have escaped to support.
Guess you're right. Hope so.
Well, there certainly weren't any broken ones. Only creatures made entirely out of bricks, so that's actually a possibility. Given how everyone was trying to flee
Hey,
up to about this area.
right on the money. Sorry,
Now's your chance.
on it.
Yeah, here's where I figure out what's going wrong. Why is it not doing burst shots? What's wrong with the situation? Why is it not doing the burst shot? I wonder why. And then I realized, that little icon means it's doing standard shot. I kind of forgot standard shot existed, because I never use it on purpose. And here's what I kind of realize. Hold it. And it turns into burst shot.
There's nothing here. Well, nothing left.
Hopston, that's...
I'd save your sympathy. There are far too many of these places to mope about every last one.
Yeah, Hopston's not really got that many enemies, but it's got some decent items and a lot of those little magic springs, so that's quite nice. So let's gather some of those while getting some lore items, shall we? I like these types of lore items as well, these little stories that get told, because They're not relevant to the overall, like, story of what happened to the world itself, but they're just cute little, like, stories that
Yes, lovely. Our friend must
give
have been
insights.
Wonder what it says.
a reader. Would you mind moving the wandering outside?
It gives all the insights into how the world thinks and how they kind of, how people kind of told stories in these areas, which I always found quite interesting.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah. Doubt that thing will still be standing next time.
I quite like the in Blue Dragon as well, because you found similar stories in bookshelves in Blue Dragon. And also in the collectibles in Ape Escape 2. My personal favourite being the one with the old man who has a monkey who stays over in his house and is just like, I'm going to make you rich beyond your wildest dreams, but you cannot see what I'm doing in my bedroom. And he's left to wonder, how is this monkey bringing in so much money? Has he got like an ape OnlyFans? What's going on here? I'm not going to tell you what the story is. I'd recommend playing Ape Escape 2 to find out, but it's a very cute little idea. And it's quite funny how it proceeds. And yeah, I said there weren't any enemies. Maybe I should have said yet. Because as soon as you get all of the actual, like, lore stuff in the area, they spawn. Which is a cute little kind of surprise. It's like a fun little way of adding a bit of a twist to the whole, oh, go to somewhere, kill the enemies and move on sort of a formula. So it also builds a little tension as well, because like, oh, there's no enemies here.
Ready for this?
But yeah, after this fight, we'll be splitting the video, and I'll see you in the next video as we explore more of this section of Planost. So I'll see you then. Goodbye.